The reason I wanted for this is because of the hydrostatic.
Hunting and stuff?
I didn't even use it.
Oh, really?
No, so, okay. It was an impulse buy on Christmas. And, or a couple days before Christmas. So we were sitting there and I said, I've been looking for one for 3 years.
Yeah.
And like, everything was out in Maine or North Dakota. And I'm just like, this one was in Neenah. So.
Oh, really? It was in Neenah?
I went and, the old guy had it. He used it up in Michigan a lot. He ice fished.
Okay.
That's what he did with it a lot.
Okay, cool.
All right. Jump on in. So there's a primer here. He never used that. He used a primer bulb right here.
Okay.
Just pump it a couple times.
All right.
And there's a reverse lockout. So I'm guessing so when you're trying to start it ain't going backwards.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Does choke work too?
No.
It's loud. Yeah. Pretty good. Not bad.
It's different, you know.
Definitely different. So how do you steer this thing? Is it just...
It's a D-handle.
That's just twist
it's like
it?
an old skid steer.
That's so weird.
Right.
Huh. Because the Argo, you go like that with the two pedal.
And yeah. So I had buddies that were, they had the Argo and they've been back in the swamp.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they ended up walking back 1.5 miles.
Oh yeah.
Water up to here. Yeah, it was not good.
So does this thing float then, or no?
This does not.
Okay.
They have a marsh model that has a ring that you can put on it, but this is not a marsh model.
Okay.
And I don't know how it is in water when it gets deep. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, I just never.
So just don't go over right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got a plug. I see. Like I said, I bought this last year, and I never even took it out on the trails, coyote hunting or nothing.
Okay.
It had a plug, so I don't know where this goes. I didn't see. Oh, right here.
Probably just when like snow and stuff gets in here.
Well, I think when water gets in here too, you can drain it. Is what I'm guessing. So.
Okay. So is this the original 2-stroke engine? I'm assuming in here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Can we take a look in there? So it won't hurt it if you rev it that high constantly like that.
A lot of guys, they'll do conversions and put the Honda conversion.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yep. Oh yeah, that's kind of cool. You know what kind of engine's in it?
What's that?
Do you know what kind of engine is in it, like the brand?
OMC.
Okay. So any issues at all that you could see? Nothing?
Nothing.
Because you didn't really ride it that much, or what?
I didn't drive it much, but he went, and that night I went there to get it. He had it running already, and then I went and, yeah, it sat for a year, and I took it out of that school. I got a shop there and stuff, and I pulled it out of there, and it fired up. Okay.
So just charge up the battery, and that's good to go then?
Yeah.
Okay. I see the tracks are getting down there.
Yeah. So the big
pretty big rips.
And I even told the wife, I says, if I get there and the tracks are cracked, I said, I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
She's like, tracks are cracked. And I'm like, you know what? I'm buying it.
Yeah.
Because I don't care because, and I asked the guy and he's like, you know what? He said they were cracked the day I bought it and I've had it for over 10 years on the, I think if a guy beat it and went on a pavement a lot or on dirt, that would be an issue. But I know the snow's so forgiving.
Yeah.
But they're getting harder to find too.
Did the guy add this for ice fishing?
He did. Okay. I don't know, this snow, today I had like 3 guys that wanted to come and look at it today.
Yeah.
And I told them you were coming down and then I never got back to the other ones. The snow I think did it.
Yeah.
You know.
The tracks just worry me. I don't know, how much are they? Did you look them up?
$2,500.
Ooh, for a set?
Uh-huh.
E.
That's why I said you're better off looking for that guy.
They're that much?
2 for $600. I'm like,
yeah,
that's 2 of them.
That's no brainer then.
Right. It's a piss poor design too on them because you got the boogie wheels here. Well, look where all the stress is.
Yeah, I know.
Everything that you rub against, that's what I looked at up here. if any of them were cracked in there. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it's going to need a set of tracks if you put a lot of miles on it. Like I said, ice fishing and the snow, I wasn't worried about, because it's not a high RPM deal like a snowmobile either.
Yeah.
If it was running at 800 RPMs or whatever, or 300 or whatever, like a snowmobile track, then I'd be more nervous, but it's slow.
Are you flexible in the? I know you said you need 38. The tracks are. If the tracks were nice, I'd give you 38, but that's just what I'm.
I'll do 35.
35.
I'll take the $300 hit.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, we've got a blizzard warning in Wisconsin right now. It's snowing a ton. We've already got about probably 4 inches of snow. It's supposed to snow all day. So I decided to pick up this 1975 Cushman Trackster. I've never owned one of these before. They're super cool. They were produced from 1970 to 1975. Some models came with flotation devices and a full cab. This one did not. But this thing can pretty much go anywhere. It's an all-terrain vehicle, and you don't see them very often. They're kind of rare, especially with the original engine. This thing has a 29 horsepower 2-stroke engine in it, and it is awesome. It's hydrostatic. You steer it using this little control right here. So to go left, you go that way, right that way, reverse, pull down, forward, push up. Thing is pretty awesome. And I rode it when I bought it, and it is a blast to ride. Different controls up here. You've got engine control, low idle, high idle. You want this thing idling really high to make the most power. You've got choke. You've got the temp gauge that will come on if the temperature is too hot. They'll turn red. We've got primer right here. There's a primer bulb as well. You've got the parking brake right down here, ignition, and you've got the lights like that. So pretty unique. And then this compartment comes off, and this one does as well for the engine. We've got a brand new seat cover on it, and I believe it's newly upholstered. The tracks are a little rough. They're cracked in some areas. The guy said it didn't affect it at all. The previous owner used it for ice fishing, and he never had a problem with the tracks. He said snow is very forgiving, so he doesn't think he'll have a problem. But I got this thing for $3,500. If you know anything about these, that is a good deal. Restored, these go for like 10 grand. And this one's in really, really good shape. You can see none of the fiberglass is broken. It looks really good. The original green color. You can see right there, there's the Cushman badge. Pretty cool. Cushman Motors, Lincoln, Nebraska. A division of Outboard Marine Corp. There's the number right there. But yeah, so it's the perfect day to test this thing out. So let's get this thing unloaded and we'll take a closer look in the garage. It also came with a winch. We have to get that working. He said it didn't work. What do you think, Vin? You like it? What do you think of it? I think Vinny approves. Alright, let's see if this thing will fire up today. So we've got a battery charger. This battery, I think, is junk on here. So we'll get that hooked up. Alright, battery charger's hooked up. Alright, so this needs primer. Primer that. Let's see what happens here. Throttle's all the way up, pretty close. All right, we got the beast in the garage. As you can see, the garage is just packed full. I really need a, a bigger building here. But this one I'm planning to keep forever. Did come with the owner's manual as well. The guy said he printed it out. Take a look at this. It goes through the whole engine. And a fun fact about these engines is that the pistons fire at the same time. So they're both at top dead center at the exact same time, which is kind of cool. And this is like a radial engine, you can see. Almost like an airplane engine. Very cool. All right, let's get this battery out and start charging it. All right, we've got negative and positive here, so that was strapped down. Yeah, it's at 0%, you can see. So I think this battery is either junk from sitting so long, or just needs to be charged up. We'll see. But let's start by getting off the hood here. See what's underneath here. So we've got transmission oil right here. It says this transmission equipped with 4 quarts of Arctic oil. All right. And 3 quarts of Type F automotive transmission fluid. Let's see if there's anything in here. Oh yeah. All right, let's see if there's any oil in here. Looks like there's new oil. It's not quite filled up all the way. But there's definitely some in there. Right between the full and the add. We'll leave that before we do some. We're gonna have to do some more research into what oil this guy used for it. But it looks like that's filled up. Alright. Looks like all the wiring is right here for it. I'm guessing that's just for the starter, the oil light, stuff like that. There's not too much to it. There's a coil right here. Spark plug right there. We can take out the spark plugs, check those out. Another spark plug right there. So pretty easy to access the spark plugs though. So that's good. And then you've got the big starter right here, it looks like. And then it looks like the intake goes up and out into the area where you sit. So I'm guessing that cover back here comes off to access the carburetor. There's a fan right here, so that must cool the engine. Pretty simple, it's not too complicated. And you've got the steering mechanism up there. We'll have to look at that. But yeah, pretty unique. Does this thing come off? Oh yeah, okay, so this thing comes off. Look at these oil filters. Cushman Motors. Lincoln, Nebraska. Oil filters for this thing. So those have probably never been changed out before. Look at that. Those are massive. Yeah, I don't know if you can find those anymore. Wow. Should pop right off like that. Bunch of fiberglass underneath there. Look right here. Got big pull start. That's pretty cool. You've got the fuel pump right here. And it looks like an air filter right in here. And then you can see this is how you steer it. So these two rods just pull and push. It's hydrostatic. So those go to the rods right there in the transmission. Huh. And it's super smooth. And then you've got a belt right here. That's the starter belt right in there. You've got an electric fuel pump right here. So I wonder if that's bypassed. You've got an electric fuel pump going directly into the carb. So this fuel pump is bypassed on it. So that must have been the original, this air filter. This can come out. Clean that up. It looks like it's full of like mice nests or something. I don't know if a mouse got in there at one point. Alright, we got the air filter out. You can see it's pretty nasty looking, so we'll blow that all out. Make sure that's cleaned up. Alright, air filter's all cleaned up. We can reinstall that. Alright, the gas tank's right underneath the seat. I believe this flips up somehow. Alright. Looks like a brand new seat, actually. Brand new wood underneath there. And the guy didn't know what mix to mix it at. We'll have to look in the manual. There's quite a bit in there. About half a tank. So we should be good for a little bit. This is a 10-gallon tank. Alright, let's take these spark plugs out. Just see how this thing's running. Kind of curious to see what kind of plugs we're running in this thing. Oh yeah, running perfectly. Nice brown color on the tip there. Looks like it's a Champion plug. L77 JC4. Looks perfect. Looks like our carburetor is tuned correctly for it, based on the plug color. And this thing fires right up, so I don't think it needs a carb clean. Alright, let's do a quick compression check. I want to see what we're running for compression here. We might try the pulsar too, see if that works. Alright. Let's see here. Man, that is hard to pull over. Might get the electric start going. Alright, we've got throttle open. See how much compression we get. Huh. Let's do it that way. Looks like we've only got 50 pounds of compression on this cylinder. Let's check the other one. Let's get this spark plug out of here. Ooh, this one's a lot wider. Look at that. Looks like that one's running a tad lean, actually. And that plug isn't wet. The other one was wet. Wonder if this thing's running on one cylinder. We'll have to check compression on this one. This thing feels like it has a lot of power, so it'd be interesting if this thing was only running on one cylinder. I'd be really surprised. They use the pull start again. Yeah, that one's a lot higher. That one's 100 pounds of compression. The other one was 50. Alright, this one's definitely low compression. We just did the compression reading again, and it was way easier to pull over than the other side. And we're reading about 68 pounds of compression. And the other one had 100. In the manual it states that you don't want less than 100 pounds of compression per cylinder. So we are definitely low on this cylinder. I'm thinking it's not even running on this cylinder, unfortunately. What we're gonna do is put a little oil down the cylinder and see if that shoots up. Could just be worn rings, I'm hoping. But like, where do you find rings for this thing, you know? So, let's see what we get. Yep, it went up with the oil down the cylinder. We're right at like 95 pounds of compression, so pretty close to the other side. So I'm thinking the ring is either stuck or really worn in there. We'll see what happens when we ride this thing around a little bit more, see if it frees up. The guy said this thing was sitting for a little bit and he hadn't ridden it in a while. So we'll see. If it doesn't change, we'll probably have to tear this thing down and at least replace the rings. I don't know if there's rings or pistons available for this thing. All right, let's see if this winch works. We'll turn this machine on and just see if this wire spins out of here. Yeah, it looks like it's not moving, so I'm thinking it's in the release. Yeah. Pull out and turn to freewheel. So I think it's stuck. Pull out and turn. I think that lever's stuck. Stuck out. So if we can get that back in, I think the winch would work. All right, so this rod is in all the way. You can pull it out, you can see a little bit. So I think the gears are just ground down in here. Yeah, we can't get this thing to work. It's not grabbing at all. All right, well that's kind of the overview of this thing. We are going to put everything back together and just see if this cylinder gets hot over here, see if that one's running on that low compression. I'm not sure why that has low compression. I felt like the machine had plenty of power, but maybe it's still running on one cylinder. All right, we're gonna try to fire this thing up and we'll see if the cylinder's getting hot over here. Yeah, looks like we're only running on one cylinder. That really sucks. So this exhaust pipe's really hot. This one is bone cold, look. I mean, I can just put my hand on it. Right on the engine as well. Yeah, super cold. That one's nice and warm over there, so. Unfortunately, we are running on one cylinder. That really, really sucks. What we're gonna do, because this thing still runs good and has a lot of power with only one cylinder, we're gonna take it for a little test drive and see what it can do. It is just snowing like crazy out. Alright, we got the four-wheeler stuck here pretty good. We're trying to go to the trailer back here because I have to go to the dump, and that obviously did not make it. Let's try pulling it out. Alright, we got her pulled out. That worked. Let's see if we can make it through here. Alright, this is some deep snow. We're looking like a foot, probably. Alright, we're gonna try to hook up to this trailer and pull this thing all the way back to the driveway over there. So, let's get this thing hooked up. Alright, what are the chances it pulls this thing all the way back? Pretty slim. I don't know how we got through here, but it pulled it right through. Alright, it pulled up this trailer, no problem. There's no way the four-wheeler would have done that. The wheels just would have spun. we're gonna quick check and see if it is in fact running on one cylinder after riding this thing for a bit. I thought maybe we'd free up that ring in that cylinder on the left, but I don't think we did. But to confirm, let's take off the hood and see if it's hot. All right, it's hot. It's melting snow. I'm gonna throw it on it. And it's really hot to the touch. Probably not as hot as this one though. Yeah, they're both equally as hot. So let's test compression again and see if it went up. All right, so I was doing a little bit more research on these and I found a forum on these things. And I was looking at a question a guy had about snow. And they said, these don't do that great in snow going uphill. And that's kind of what we were seeing. It was going through deep snow, no problem, flat surface, but going uphill, you know, you had to turn back the throttle a little bit and let the RPMs catch up. And I believe this one actually has the 25 horsepower model, not the 29. And that could be the issue. So they're a little underpowered going through deep snow. A lot of guys said, once the snow gets packed down and hard and you float over the snow, that's where they excel. So maybe the cylinder is running on the left side. So let's just see what the compression is. Maybe the compression went up, and maybe that's just how the machine is. Going downhill on flat surface, this thing flies. Alright, that plug looks a lot better now. See, I think it started running again. It's not wet, and it's turning a little bit more brown at the tip here. So, yeah, I think it wasn't running before. Maybe it changed. Let's see. We'll do a compression test. Alright, looks like we still only have 70 pounds of compression, so that's not great. Definitely on the lower side. But I think it is running at least sometimes. So, I don't know. Not too good. I'd like to see at least 100. Well, that wraps up the video on the 1975 Cushman Trackster. This thing is awesome. I highly recommend you guys go grab one if you can find one in good condition. But we're going to put some Marvel Mystery Oil down the cylinder. We're going to see if that ring frees up after riding it a couple more times. I'm thinking that ring is stuck in there. So we'll see. I'll ride this thing for a couple weeks, see if we can free up that ring. But yeah, it's running great, driving great, running great, and as you can see, it can pretty much go through anything. I just backed up this trailer with it too, so it was impossible to get traction on the driveway, and this thing just pushed it right back into place, no problem. So I really like it so far. And it's a super fun machine to drive, especially in this deep snow where pretty much nothing else can go. So, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next one. And until next time, we are out.